Me and my woman alone on the road. And we don't check in nobody. We don't check in nobody. We out on the road. Me and my woman alone on the road. And we don't check in nobody. We don't check in nobody. We out on the road. You see me, I'm a one woman man. And when we out on the road, it's me and my woman. It's me and my woman alone. It's me and my woman alone. You see we no follow no damn. Don't patrol with no man. It's me and my woman. It's me and my woman alone. It's me and my woman alone. This carnival you could pass me straight. I'd appreciate all the hellos and the highs. Set them for a later date. I'm focused on the one. It's about me and about mine. Right now it's our time. Me and my woman alone on the road. And we don't check in nobody. We don't check in nobody. We out on the road.
Who's
Me and
it?
my woman
Nayee, big up. Ishon, big up.
and we don't check in nobody. We don't check in nobody. We out on the road.
Once you in, say you in.
You see me, I'm a one woman man. And when we out on the road, it's me and my woman. It's me and my woman alone. It's me and my woman alone. You see we don't follow no girl. Don't patrol with no man. It's me and my woman. It's me and my woman alone. It's me and my woman alone.
Why did that? Big up, big up, big up.
In the place, I'll this place outside. I have my dignity, plus my woman is my pride. All sides will have to flee. My girl, I'll publicize. My love will never hide. This carnival, you can pass me straight.
Joshua Music Production, big up.
The yellows and the eyes, set them for a later date. I'm focused on the wine. It's about me and about mine. Right now, it's all
Mr. Bale Production, big up, brother, big up. Easy Vibes Music, big up one time.
And we don't check in nobody. We don't check in nobody. We out on the road. Me and my woman alone on the road.
So yeah, or you probably wondering why we playing that.
We don't check
Because
in
that's how we
nobody.
do it today.
We out on the road. You see me, I'm a one woman man. And when we out on the road, it's me and my woman. It's me and my woman alone. It's me and my woman alone. You see we don't follow no gang. Don't patrol with no man. It's me and my woman. It's me and my woman alone.
Black on the drums, brother, big up one time. It's a good thing you're there. It's a good thing you're there. Yeah, so welcome. Dajia how? Nimen sen mayang. How are you guys, man? How are you guys? So we're going over this today because this is actually what we're going to be going over. This was, as you can see, 2020 Bouyon. This was one of the biggest hits for 2020. Like, even if I did it myself, like, you have to admit it's a hit when it's a hit. If it wasn't a hit, I wouldn't say it. But we all know that was a hit. This 2020 last year. That song played so much places. Big up DJ BZ one time. That song gets so much space time, man. Like the amount of jams that one song was in. Even Steel Pan had that song playing as one of their songs for the year. That song went far, man. And it's crazy how this actually started. So, yeah. So this is the project file for One Woman Man. But I guess we should give a story how it started. You check? We should give a story how it started originally. So basically how it started was that like this is a post-product of a pre-product, so to speak. How like to put it in layman terms, this was like you see the remixes that I do. I actually did a remix of a song. I did a remix of a song. But now, from what you guys see, like I just do my remix is completely different from this song. So even if I take out the song on the remix, it's just going to be an instrumental by itself, like a whole entire instrumental. So I did that. I did the remix of the song. I sent it. Well, I end up playing it for Colton because like Colton tell me like let's put together a Bouyon for the season. So while we were in the studio, we went through one of the beats, and then I clicked on that beat and I played that beat with the vocals on it. Then Colton was like, "Take all the vocals on that a while. Let's see what that song is like." So I took out the vocals and boom, we had like basically this rhythm here. We had this rhythm and a set of chords, which is the same chords that we use in there in that song right now. And that was it. And like we were there in the studio and like Colton there and I there sit down on the laptop and Colton just checking like, take that out, let's start to work on that beat. So we take that out, take out the vocals, we start working on the beat. I probably like fix up the rhythm a little bit, probably add one, two things I can't remember off my head, off to be precise, because like I doing so much things, it's like, yeah, I don't remember all them things. that moment you're rhythm playing live and you don't even recognize your own rhythm. Yeah. So that's the story of my life. So it's not everything I do that I'm going to remember. So basically we did that. So we got that down and then like as we there working on the beat, it's so Colton they're like listening. We had the speakers, like we had the studio speakers plugged, so both of us there and then as the beat coming along, Colton shaking his head. Then Colton stop shake his head. This time Colton stand up and Colton start to jump all over the place. You check, jumping over the place and then me and my woman and the lyrics come in the boy head because like that is like I for how long I know the boy, like for anything to do with music, that is the boy's style. Once it catch the boy, the lyrics will just come out. Check. That is the boy the boy creative like that. You check. It does come out. That is the boy. It does just come out. So the boy letting go eats after it and that does just come out in the boy. Yeah, so that is an artist. You know an artist when you see an artist, you check. So the boy start to bounce that and we there and the boy killing it. I just so we had like the draft basically. So we didn't have the beat fully constructed as it is now. We just had like a basic thing, like probably like the pianos, some drums, like basic drums, not the drums of now, because the drums were tweaked to go with his vocals basically. So based on what he sing, the drums went with it. So we had basic drums, like we had a basic production. So it's like we have a whole different production from what we started with at the end. The end product is vividly different from the pre-production. So we had like probably like the piano. We had the synth. And then I add things like the choir, I add the legatos from the violins. I have like double violins, more violins, and yeah, a choir as well. And then what we first did, like we had like draft vocals. So like, okay, if we come here, and we play this.
My woman alone on the road. And without checking nobody.
This is draft vocals. Like we had like remember Colton has like his own studio and / band practice area. So we just like hook up one of the mics and he sang draft vocals for me. And my job was to use those draft vocals to construct around it. Check. So I had the draft vocals.
A woman alone. I'm a one woman man, and when we out on the road, it's me and I'd appreciate alone. Don't patrol with no man.
So as I said, it's draft vocals. So we didn't do it in like a studio mic or anything like that. We just did it with like a normal dynamic mic you'd use to like perform on stage. So we had that. The purpose of that was to just get the vocals done, and for me to like finish the production when I went home and sit down and organize myself. So with the draft vocals, like these are These are like the finished product vocals.
woman alone.
So that is the finished vocals, which I got after we did the official recording, and I had to like reorganize the drums a little bit. I redo the bass a little bit to like suit the vocals a little bit more. And yeah, so after we did the draft vocals, like Colton was just like, okay, we had the vocals already. So I tell him, what again you want us to do in the beat? Because we didn't have the violins and everything done yet. So I ask him, what again you want me to do in the beat? He checking, boy, you know what? Just do anything. Just do anything. Because like, he know me. You check? He know me. Like, I know Colton long, even before Colton starts singing. But then in the case of music, like musically, is like I listen to cinematic music, rock music, a lot of them kind of crazy stuff, you check? So I tell him, well, I can try and like mess up the beat a little bit, like just change the whole vibe of it, just make the beat different. And I sure like a lot of people, like when they hear one woman man, is like you're not sure what kind of beat it is at the starting. So like here. Like when the beat just coming up, you're not sure what kind of song it is.
Me and my woman alone.
Like you can think probably a dancehall, probably a rock, because you're getting that rock feeling from it.
We don't check in nobody.
And like you're just not sure what kind of beat that coming out of it.
Me and my woman.
Even here, like you're still getting the rock feeling from the drum.
And we don't check in nobody.
And that is when you actually know it's a Bouyon. Because the rhythm coming in and then the drum pattern for Bouyon comes in. So we had that. And once we had like what we wanted out of it, that's when we decided like we need some guitars. But we don't want like program guitars. Like anybody can come in FL and play guitars, but it don't have that realistic feeling. So first step we decided to do was like Colton decided to call up Black. And Black there one time on the YouTube, big up Black one time again, my boy. And Black is a guitarist. The boy bad on the guitar. He can play drums as well. But yeah, so Black came in. We tell Black, yo, we want some guitars. No, Black is a fella. Black used to listen to all kind of music as well. So I tell the boy, you know what? I feeling for a little cinematic rock kind of vibe. So give me some guitars like that as well. So we had the rock guitar. Then we know it's a Bouyon we're doing, so we cannot forget the Bouyon bubble. And then Black also did like some fingering guitar. For the little leads feeling. That just came down really nice in that. So with the guitars from Black and the vocals from Colton, the rest was just to finish the production, which I had already start like putting together. So like I had already put down little violins and put down like 1-2 little synths. Oh, that's just like a spooky kind of vibes. Like you don't get it nothing else but a spooky kind of feeling from that kind of shit. So I just basically like change the whole bit around, like make it like a hybrid. Like originally we considered it a hybrid Bouyon. Check? Because like Bouyon not bad, but in all honesty, and especially like at this point in time, Bouyon is the same. No creativity right now. Everybody just want to jump on the same type of Bouyon beat. The same, like you produce a beat, they want to beat that song in like that beat last week. You want to be that song like the beat last month. You want to be that song like the beat 2 months back. No creativity. Check? And that is one of the things that have people checking like, why is it sense really and truly? And we not marketable like that. Because like no creativity. Like my brother, boy. Yeah. You can't kill your creativity. So we just decide. We do, honestly, all of us sit down and we decide. We had already done, like, me and Colton already done come to agreement that we do making like a generic Bouyon kind of thing. We making something different. But then Black come around and then we show Black the scene and Black was like, yeah, Let's make that different. Let's just make something different. So now that we have the story done, let's go into the production process. So the first thing one of the things I did, I got this choir. That I printed it down by audio, but I got that choir from a contact plugin called Genesis. Now it's very heavy, so at the time like it took a lot of processing power. That's why I printed it down. But I only used it in the chorus areas. Then to add on top of it, how we started up the beat was we had the choir. So I had two choirs going on. I had a choir from Xpan, and I like to flavor up my choirs as much as possible. So like as you can see, like this is my choir setup. Like it's all over. So we had different notes coming in at all different times. So we had that. And that's actually the melody of the instrumental. So the choir plays the melody as well as the strings, which here. That's tremolo strings. And I have it there as well, but one is at a higher octave. So one playing at a lower octave, one at a higher octave. Then I have a violin. That violin playing a counter melody, so you don't play the exact melody that the choir and the strings they are playing. Then we have synths, just basic synths doing a sustenance of the chords changes, as well like it and the piano does the same thing. And then just a bass, a sustained bass. So that's the intro. That's how we starting up the beat. We don't start it up with nothing hard. We start it up like nice and to just come in nicely. Next thing was from the sustain, we went into the chorus section. So like the chorus is like 16 bars. The first 8 bars were the sustaining part, and then we dropped into the main part on the next 6 bars. So for this part where everything comes together, we have drums. But the drums here is different because we didn't want it to start up like one shot, like how it would start up in like the other sections. So knowing that we just came from the sustenance part where like we didn't have no drums or anything going from that, we could actually like give the difference in the drums, and that's where the rock feeling came in. So that was the rock feeling I added because yeah, like basically we decided to do something different, and left to my own devices as instructed by ColtonT, I just went and I put rock inside there. Like, wow! I just go and do it. You tell me, he tell me I can do what I want, so I did what I want. Now we have bass. Now, if I don't have to, I will not play straight bass. Once I can bubble on a bass, make a bass dance, I will bubble on a bass. Now, we have the bubble piano there. But I didn't make that coming until like later on when the Bouyon drums start. So we kind of still had the sustenance here going through. Now the melody didn't change. I still keep the same melody. The only thing was that the bubble piano came in along with the bass line and the drums. And then to add to that section, the second half of the chorus, I had that lead. So that's where the creepy leads come in. It come in on the second half of the chorus. So that's what we had. And that's the instrument section of it. The guitar is here as well, but like we did like the cut up of the guitars in the studio. So I don't really have the like cut up here. We did the cut up separate. Then we move on to the verse. And what the verse does, it goes exactly as ColtonT sings. So ColtonT is like, I'm a one woman man. So that's why you had the hit. You had the hit section coming in here. I'm a one woman man. So you have a brass. I'm a one woman man. And when we out on the road, it's me and my woman. It's me and my woman alone. So you had the brass coming in for that like little one woman man road. For like the hit section of it. The piano does the bubble, and then when the brass come in, it does the hit as well. I'm a one woman man, and when we out on the road, it's me and my woman. It's me and my woman alone. It's me. We also have the synth. I'm a one woman man, and when we out on the road, it's me and my woman. It's me and my woman alone. And what we doing here, like we just make like a down scale. We were in D sharp, and because we were going down to C, I just did a down scale of the tonic of D sharp and the fifth, and then went down to the passing note of D. We use the tonic and the fifth as well and then I also use like the major seventh. So that's where we are the major seventh here, going on to D. That's like an extended chord basically. Then we have the bass line for the verse. So what we have here, we have the bass line playing like notes. And then it has like a up rolling bass line right here, which is pre-recorded. So if you click that, you get in that bass line roll. That one as well. So we have two bass line rolls coming in. Rosie's crew, big up, big up. Didi Joseph, big up. So that's our bass line, and then our drums. Our drums following the vocals as well. So we're starting up with a nice little one snare and then roll into the crash. And then the drums just flow from there. So at the end we had this. I'm a one woman man, and when we out on the road, it's me and my woman. It's me and my woman alone. It's me and my woman alone. You see now for the next section, it's not that different. It's actually the same thing. The only thing is like I made like minor changes on the drums, the bass, and the synth. As you can, if you're paying attention to here, that section of the screen, when I click on it too, you can see like the little minor changes. So the only change was like I changed up like the roll in the drums. Change up the roll around here. And somewhere around here. I took out like probably 2 notes in the bass. Just to make like a slight difference. So like you don't almost do like a whole different section, because it's the same thing. Like you want people to like have like a constant groove. And then I just remove like the passing note here of the D. Then we have the pre-chorus section.
Carnival, you could pass me straight. I'd appreciate all the hellos and the highs. Save them for a later date. I'm focused on the wine. It's about me and about mine. Right now it's our time.
So for the pre-chorus section, I took out the synth and I didn't use the brass because we didn't have the heat of the vocals coming in again. So the only thing that played here for that part was, sorry, the only part that played for that was the bubbling piano and the bass line with the drums and the guitars as well. So we had that bass line. Now that part there, that's one of the parts I added later. Like after we had the vocals, I had like I'm focused on the wine. So I made the bass line to go with the focus on the wine. So it just following the vocals here. And then he have like it's about me and about mine, so it have the same melody here. And then also here, it is our time. So at that later end there, I just reorganize the bass so it could suit like the flow of the vocals basically. Now once we had that one was more of the Bouyon feeling because we didn't use the rock guitar here. We kept more of the like bubble feeling for the pre-chorus area. And a constant drum. And then we're going back into the chorus, which is where everything else coming in. Where that's well, the chorus of every song is what is the main focus of the song, yeah? And that was the main focus of the song, the chorus. So that's where we had all the orchestral instruments and the rock feeling mixing coming in with it. So what we decided to do for that part as well, we decided to keep the sustenance. So instead of going straight, like continuing the straight thing, we decide for every start of the chorus, we'd make the bass sustain along with the instruments, and then for the second half of the chorus, it would come in with the bubble. So we had that again. But this time we had the drums playing throughout. So in the first part, we didn't have the drums playing throughout. So the first part was like that. And the drums only came in like on the second half of the chorus with the rock and everything. But for this part now, because we're already inside this song, it didn't make sense that we go back down and take out the drums and everything, which wasn't making sense. Because it was just for like the intro. So we keep the drums, but we add everything else, do the sustenance. And then on the second part, the drums continued. We didn't put in the rock section. Like, remember we had the rock section, yeah? So as I said, the rock section was just for the starting. And I think we used it like later down somewhere, yeah? But we have that. We had the constant Bouyon drums going through for that part of the chorus. The leads coming in as well. So we had that. Now for that section, we did the same thing. Just that we had more of like a one drop kind of drums. And then we just cut out the drums here. Then we go back to the hit again. Cut the drums, hit, and then we had like a different roll here. It's just that at the time I was in the studio recording the official vocals, ColtonT felt for like, remember, ColtonT is a dancehall artist. So he felt like he wanted something a little bit more dancehall. So he actually had the idea for that role section. It didn't come with the exact idea, if I recall, but it was close to the idea that he had. So ColtonT was the one that came up with the idea for that role section there, which was kind of like dancehall.
It's me and my woman. It's me and my woman alone.
So we have everything else doing that same thing. The bass cuts off as well.
I'm a one woman man, and when we out on the road.
And we have the little rolling coming in here, the pre-programmed one.
I'm a one woman man, and when we out on the road. It's me and my woman. It's me and my woman alone.
And then we go back into everything. Second section is the same as like what we did later down here, earlier. What we did earlier here, it's the same here. The same pre-chorus, the pre-chorus didn't change. And then we went back.
Carnival, you can pass me straight.
We went back to everything here.
Carnival, you can pass me straight. I'd appreciate all the yellows and the eyes. Set them for a later date. I'm focused on the wine. It's about me and about mine. Right now is our time. Me and my woman.
But what we did for this part, we took out the drums. So in that part, we took out the drums again as well, because it was like the third chorus section. So like to just make the chorus a little bit different, and then we was coming close to the end of the song, so we did that.
Carnival, you can pass me straight.
And then we went back into everything again with the drums, just like the last part.
Woman alone on the road. And we don't check in nobody. We don't check in nobody. We out on the road. Me and my woman alone on the road. And we don't check in nobody. We don't check in nobody. We out on the road. You see me, I'm a one woman man. And when we out on the road, it's me and my woman. It's me and my woman alone. It's me and my woman alone.
And then after that, we ended the sustain again.
Easy way, we don't follow no girl. Don't watch out with no man. It's me and my woman. It's me and my woman alone. It's me and my woman alone.
So we ended it with the same sustenance again. So this was what we had for the production, and like this is actually the studio process version of the music. When I mean the music, like the instrumental, but it didn't have the drums, because as I said, I redid the drums after I got the vocals and the beat. So I have that with the bass, everything, the guitars, everything processed. Oh yeah, we also added a hit. To the production while we was in the studio. So I don't have it here in that, but we added a hit. So every time it ting ting, it added with the brass. So when the choir and the violins came out, what that kept the hybrid part of the music was the guitars, because it played throughout the track. So that's why that kept it being a hybrid song, or it didn't sink into the generic Bouyon song. And as I said, we had the vocals as well. So after I redid the drums and I sent it across, that was what we had. We had the finished product of what is outside on YouTube right now, the official version of the song. As for the machine, well, I actually have I have 3 versions of that song. So I had the machine version by itself. That's where like the files for just the Riddim. But then because I wanted to just work on the instrumental by itself, I fixed up the Riddim in its own separate project. I exported the files for the Riddim, and I placed it inside there as a whole. So that's why you only have the Riddim as one thing. I gave it its own. I gave it its own project folder. And then if the other one is just the old, like the pre-version of the One Woman Man before like the final project which we have here. So if we put the vocals, let's mute the guitars. The vocals, the machine, and the beat.
And we don't check in nobody. We don't check in nobody. We out on the road. Me and my woman alone on the road. And we don't check in nobody. We don't check in nobody. We out on the road. You see me, I'm a one woman man. And when we out on the road, it's me and my woman. It's me and my woman alone. It's me and my woman alone. You see we not follow no girl. Don't patrol with no man. It's me and my woman. It's me and my woman alone.
So yeah, that was the production process of One Woman Man. So that was how we came about making that hit song from 2020. It wasn't much. It was just like, honestly, one of the things that made that song a hit was the fact that the instrumental was different. Check. The instrumental was different. And like that's what we lacking a lot of times right now. Like, be creative, try something different. Like, just go outside there, go outside the box, do something. Mix it in with another genre of music or bring in different elements, because that's what music is. If you don't get creative, you're just gonna get the same kind of song every time. And I hear some songs outside already and they could be hits, but it's not creative. Sometimes it's not the lyrics that's the problem, or it's not the artist that's singing on it. Probably the beat not going as good as you would want it to, and that keeping back the track. Same as what I said on my Facebook. It has some songs that I hear on some beats that everybody sing on that beat already. And after a while, you just have to agree that beat not for you. Yes, you might think that if you jump on that beat as well as everybody else, yeah, your song's going to push, but you don't always look like that. Sometimes that could be what that keep your song from pushing. Because a song already make a hit on that, and people are going to remember it for that. So yeah, that was the production process for One Woman Man. The only thing I have to say is honestly just be creative. Like, try different things, make your music stand out, and it will benefit you at the end of the day. So once again, big up to everybody that tuned in. Respects. Most likely we might be here again tomorrow, or we might just have a video posted. I'm not sure. Yeah, so I mentioned as well that I will be reviewing like Bouyon, or like if you have any other instrumentals, you could send them across as well. If you have like Riddims or instrumentals you want to review, you can send them across to me at my email, and I will review them in a video that I'll post online. So send that across, and probably like if you have like a YouTube page or Instagram or something like that, send that as well in the email so I can link you along with your review. So anybody that see your review, if they're interested in whatever I reviewed or something, probably they're interested in whatever productions you have, they can find you through the links that you provided. So do that. Send the links. Send your instrumentals across. I'll review them. I'll give you my honest feedback, what I think you could improve on, what you could probably change in that beat, those kind of stuff. So, yeah. Find my email in my channel description, or you can DM me on Facebook from my Facebook page. And another thing, I have mentorship programs running. So if you're interested in learning, like, if you're interested in learning Bouyon, you can tune into my mentorship program. I'll teach you what I know, how to remix tracks, how to make your own instrumentals, how to make a Riddim alone, my mixing and mastering process for my instrumentals, music theory, and then outside of it, just for Bouyon, like I mentoring for like general mentoring as well. So like lo-fi, R&B, how to work with DAWs, work with plugins, those kind of stuff. So I'll basically have two mentorship programs running. I'll have a general mentorship program, so you're just going to like have me as your mentor, and whatever music of whatever type of music you're interested in or so forth, I will mentor you based on that, or what I doing basically, because I doing like a certain amount of genres right now. So I'll mentor you general, but if you want a specific mentorship, like mentorship in Bouyon, then you just click in for the Bouyon mentorship, or you can click in for the general mentorship, and you just tell me if you want to do Bouyon whilst we're doing that mentorship. As I said, it's a mentorship. Whatever I know, I will teach. So that's the process, guys. So once again, thanks for watching. Peace out.